Where were we? Alright, let's see. It's too dangerous for the likes of you. Just because Lucario is too damn strong doesn't mean everything will go the way you want, Chris yelled, shocking the three at his sudden outburst. He looked worried once again. And I just can't shrug this off and let Lucario go. I want to go and see what I can do. You sure you're not the typical headstrong teen with a dream? Oh, like Katy Perry. I'm not into fighting. I'm not into fighting, Chris admitted. That was a stupid joke, I'm sorry. I'm a smart teen who worked hard in high school. That doesn't fit my criteria too much, the hand said. Oh well, expect the unexpected, they say. But still, he pointed a finger at the teen, startling him. You know full well what you're getting into, right? You're entering a battlefield where anything can happen. You might get killed off. Not if I'm around, Lucario said. He made a fist that got engulfed in aura. I'm Chris's Pokemon. He is my Pokemon trainer. I wouldn't want to think that he's going to be left behind doing nothing while I go out. Just the thought of leaving him alone doesn't bode me well. Bode me well. He looked at his trainer with a small smile. I'm the strongest Lucario the world has ever seen. Using my power, I'll see that Chris pulls through without suffering. The teen smiled a bit at his Pokemon speech. Oh, now I see how things are. Now I see how things are around here, the hand said. It's the typical Pokemon bond between a Pokemon and his human. Yeah, I've seen that plenty of times before, he grunted. Okay, Chris, this is the last thing I'm going to ask of you. Do you truly want to join the Smashers, along with your Lucario, to fight against the Subspace army, knowing you'll be facing a danger a lot more than you've done in your life? Join the Smashers, Chris trailed off. That means you're working under me, Master Hand pointed out. With my leadership, I shall guide you through. Ellipsis. Chris stared long at Lucario. I have the world's strongest Lucario, he said, smiling wide. Why should I get worried about getting hurt out there? Chris! Lucario trailed off as he pulled his trainer under his left arm, nudging his muzzle against his head. The teen chuckled heartily and embraced him. Okay, that's kind of a moving scene, Master Hand said. Don't fucking flatter yourself or a channeler, Chris. But there are things to be done around here. Are we okay that the two of you will work for me? Yes, Chris said, nodding. Lucario released his grip from him. I'll do whatever I can to support the team, with Lucario, of course. Master Hand turned away. Well, that's just going to make me take some crucial decisions with you, he said. Chris and Lucario looked at him. I'd tell you that once we're ready to send you off on your first mission of the day. Chris was concerned. Do we have to take a few items with us? He asked. No, it'll be okay, he said as he began floating away to Chris's room. Crazy Hand hopped off from the couch and followed him. The duo looked at each other with flat looks before following the hands. Chris's room. Chris and Lucario stood in front of Master Hand and Crazy Hand. Chris, Lucario, Master Hand began, we have to stop the Subspace army from conquering the worlds of the Smashers. My Smashers. He raised a finger. Our first order of business is to keep their world safe by disabling the Subspace bombs. It is also our top priority to gather them all once again when they're done with the plots of their games. What? Oh shit, we have to go through each individual plot of the games? No fucking wonder it's so long. Wait, Chris trailed off. So do you know that you're part of video games? He asked. Lucario looked away with a bit of disdain. Lucario also realized that some time ago. Oh, it's nothing really, the hand said. It only matters that we live. To me, it's far more important that I could have a conscience of my own to be aware of. It was hard to tell, but he looked serious. Yeah, how can you tell? At all? Whatever. For that matter, though, I forbid you the idea of ever telling anybody you come across about the fact that the world's a part of video games. It's going to be a pretty big thing to them, I suppose, Lucario supposed. Yes, right, the hand said. The team doesn't even know about that. They'll react negatively to the whole idea if they were to find out. You better keep the secret covered and just tell them you come from the other normal worlds. I don't care what you do, as long as you don't disrupt their stories. Disrupting their stories, Chris repeated. It's unknown to me where you're going to end up, the hand said. I will take you to the closest location where the plot is unraveling. That means you'll be dropped off anywhere. You are expected to help the protagonists of any world with their issues while trying to find the army somewhere along the road. It's clear that the army wants to chase them down, so if you stick with them, you're bound to protect them. Do not stray away from their stories, though. It's not recommended that you make some alterations for better results." "How will we know when the mission is completed?" Chris asked, concerned. "I will contact you as soon as I can," Master Hand said. "I have powers beyond your imagination. I can see very well how you're doing by yourselves. For the time being, Crazy Hand and I will take residence in this house, avoiding people from seeing us from the windows, of course." Lucario grimaced. "You better not cause any stupidity in here." Okay, whatever. He warned them. "I don't want to think what'd happen if you got out." "We won't do that," Master Hand said as his brother shook himself. "This is a safe place for us to hide from the army." "But how can we go to other worlds?" Lucario asked. Master Hand saw a Wiimote on the bed and pointed at it. He fired a yellow light to the control, and it went up in front of Chris and Lucario by floating in midair. The two stared at the control. "Then more of my belongings got corrupted," Chris sighed. "This is not corrupted," Master Hand yelled before coughing a little. "Use this. The control is a key to go with the other worlds." "What?" Chris said. "You did something to my control?" "Your control has been modified to open portals," the Hand pointed out. "Point forward and press the A button." The teen could hardly believe that this was happening, but he did as he was told. Shyly pointing the control forward, Chris's doubtful thumb pressed the A button. The thumb itself was doubtful. The thumb has a personality of its own. That's actually not all that surprising given what we've encountered so far in this bizarre story. Suddenly, a trail of light shot out and seemingly crashed against empty air. A small shining dot shone before the two, and then it started to grow into a big circle. When the big circle was 7 foot big, they saw a swirl of bright colours inside the majestic abnormality. "Ow!" Chris yelped, backing off from the vortex. It was a wonder to see that nothing was getting sucked into it. "Yeah, that's the initial impression," Master Hand said. "What you see before you is a portal that will take you to Ness's world. I have sensed that the army's first target is Ness. I want you to rendezvous with him at the point where he's at, and convince him to let you join his team." "What if he doesn't let us join him?" Lucario asked. "Bug him a little more," Master Hand said. "Try to do your best to convince him. He's toasted if he gets targeted out of nowhere while walking through a city. You two are my only hope to see them safe." He saw that Chris looked unsure. "Having second doubts now, Chris?" "Huh?" Chris said before looking away. Well... "Look, because I don't want to see you chucking rocks and sticks at the enemies while Lucario does all the fighting," the Hand began as he raised a glowing finger. "Let me give you your tools for the battle." "My tools for bat?" Chris couldn't say any more once the Hand shot him with a bright light. As Lucario watched in shock as his trainer's body glowed, Chris felt a funny sensation. However, it was still an odd feeling he never felt before, and it was by no means a negative one disguised as a positive one. I can't do this anymore. He looked at his hands glowed briefly, and before he could see more, the light faded away. "What did you just do to him?" Lucario questioned. "I gave him the job system," Master Hand said. "More like blowjob system." The job system? Chris wondered, looking back up at him. "I got this from a world I was spying on," the Hand pointed out. "Basically, I gave you the potential to gain a wide assortment of powers that will unlock by themselves as time goes by while you fight battles. In short, let's just say that you're going to be a carbon copy of the Smashers. You're basically going to get jobs that will resemble them in powers and appearance. For example, someday you'll get a job that will give you a copy of Ike's clothes along with his sword Ragnell. There won't be any radical changes done to your body, though." Chris thought hard about the job system. Ike's my favourite, but he was still unsure if this was a good idea. Obviously, the Hand spied upon the Final Fantasy series when talking about the system itself. "Wait a minute," Chris said, realising something. "How do I change jobs?" "Oh, it's simple," the Hand said. "You just have to imagine the job you want to change to in your mind. But the problem is you don't have a single job at the moment." "What?" Chris said in shock as Lucario looked similarly with the same expression. "You're sending me into a foreign world without a single job?" "I'm testing you," the Hand said. "This is a test for you to prove yourself, Chris." "Are you insane?" Chris asked. "No," the boss bluntly said. "Look, I do things around here pretty seriously. The people that work under me are expected to work hard. You're a special case, however," he said. "You lazy fuck. I know it sounds really bad that I'm giving you almost nothing to fight battles, but I wish to see how you'll develop your fighting skills as you progress through this long adventure. I can tell you're not the adventurous type, so I wish to see how the likes of you mature."